Hey, it's Ruby. Welcome back to another reading vlog. Today we're going to be finishing as many series as we can. I have a plan and hopefully we can go through all of them because it is quite a bit of books, but at least for me as a slow reader. But we're going to try and stick with it. I feel like all of these I am finishing up the series or catching up with the latest book. So I'm excited because the end is always just so good. You get all the resolution, you get all the closure, hopefully the happily ever after. But yeah, we have some romance in here, we have some fantasy, we have romantasy, and I am excited. Actually, yeah, we even have sci-fi. It's gonna be a good week. It's gonna be a good week. So let's talk about all the books that I want to read this week and all the series that we might potentially finish. Here is my stack of books. I first of all want to go ahead and finish Powerful and Reckless. I did read Powerless last year, and when these two came out, I didn't prioritize them. I do want to. I have now heard what everybody's saying about them, and I'm interested. I'm gonna go with an open mind, and hopefully it will be 5 stars, but we'll see. I'm also gonna finish the Red Rising trilogy, at least the first part, the first trilogy with Morning Star. I really loved the last book, Golden Sun. It was so good. So we'll talk about them more as we go, obviously, but just a little intro, just a little look, a little sneak peek at what we're getting. Magnolia Parks. I'm going to be reading the last book that's currently out. I believe that this is a conclusion to Magnolia Parks' story. And then we still are getting 2 more books, but they're Daisy Hates books. So we're concluding Magnolia Parks. And then we're also going to be finishing up the Kingdom of the Wicked trilogy with Kingdom of the Feared, because I do want to read Throne of the Fallen already. The second book in that series is coming out very soon. So it's a lot of books to get through. It's a lot of pages to get through. That Magnolia Parks book is so long, but we can do it. We can do it. So what do we start with? I think we're going to start with Magnolia Parks because after I read Daisy Hates The Great Undoing, I wanted to immediately go into this and binge it, but I didn't because I was waiting for the audiobook. And I now have the audiobook, but I think I only have it for like 2 more days and then my loan is up. So I'll listen to some of it, maybe half of it, and then the rest I'll just read it physically. But let's start off with Magnolia Parks and see how Magnolia and BJ's story finishes. It's time for an update. So I am exactly 50% in. I've been listening to the audiobook and it says 50% in. I found my place, chapter 44. So yeah. And I went into this with the highest of expectations because people have loved this. They've been giving it 5 stars. They've been saying it's an epic conclusion to Magnolia and BJ's story. And I've got to say that so far, the first half of the book, I've been kind of bored, low-key bored, low-key, because I do love this world and these characters. I'm invested, so I don't hate it, but it's kind of boring. Like compared to the last book, Daisy Hates The Great Undoing, this one has been pretty just chill. Not much has happened. It's really just Magnolia dealing with her trauma and her mental health, and I'm not that invested in Magnolia right now. She's low-key annoying me. She still, has her thing with BJ, doesn't fully trust him, which, what's new? That's been since book 1 a thing. And I don't know. What I will say is that in the last chapter 43, Julian Hates entered the chat. He's back and I love Julian. But it seems like he's not going to be sticking around in the book. So that's unfortunate. But I am crossing my fingers that he's going to be present for some of this book. But if not, it's fine. We're still getting 2 more Daisy Hates books. But it's just not that interesting right now. I have finished Magnolia Parks Into the Dark, which is the final book in Magnolia and BJ's story. I believe I read that we're still going to get 2 more books in the Magnolia Parks universe, but they're going to be Daisy Hates books. And I have some thoughts. First of all, I didn't love this book. It is so long. It was like 700 pages long. And I felt like the same thing happened for all 700 pages, which was Magnolia dealing with her grief and her mental health and her, you know, everything that she has going on. And BJ was there for her the whole time. Any little thing would happen and she would doubt BJ, and BJ would prove that he didn't do anything. That was the whole book. That was it. And I didn't love that. Honestly, this really, I've been a Magnolia Parks girl from the start. And I still do think that in the beginning, I was a Magnolia Parks girl instead of Daisy Hates. Because Daisy was annoying me in the beginning. But now I like Daisy. And I guess we switched. Now I prefer Daisy over Magnolia, but who knows. Anyway, we're still going to get 2 more Daisy Hate books, which I'm ready for, because the way that the little teeny tiny glimpses and little tiny subplot in this where we see Daisy and Julian were just so much more entertaining than what was going on with Magnolia and BJ. I'm here for that. I want to know what's going on. Obviously something's happening. Something's going on with them. Something big. And man, I think we saw Julian Hates twice, like 2 little glimpses of Julian, and that was like my favorite part of the book. I love Julian Hates, but I wonder what's gonna happen now, because we still have 2 whole more books and they're always thick. So I at this point I really don't even care about Daisy and Christian. I never really did, but Julian, invested. So yeah, I mean, all in all, the ending I did like. If it was just a rating for the ending, I would have given it like 4 stars, because I did really like the ending. But the book as a whole, maybe it's just that I don't, you know, you all know my little Grinch heart. But I think we're gonna give this like a 3.5. At the end when we recap, we'll have a final rating, but right now I'm thinking 3.5. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to our second book. And I think we're gonna move on to Morning Star, which is dramatically different from this, but I like to do that. So Morning Star is the 3rd book in the Red Rising trilogy. I think it's gonna end up strong, because Golden Sun was really good. So let's move on to that one. I have an update, but we went to Five Below because my brother was messaging me and he showed me this. There was a bunch of them. I took some footage I can share with you in case you want them. But there was a bunch of these little mushroom lamps and I had to have it because there was this green one and it was actually the only one left, like the last one left in this color, which this is the one that I wanted, because the other ones were a blue one, which I love blue, but for home decor, green, like sage green, mint green. Well, no, not really, but sage green I love, and just shades of green. And I had to have this. Let's see. This is an actual lamp, so it's actually open at the top, which I wasn't sure if it was or it wasn't, but it is. So it's an actual little lamp, but it's so cute. I love how short and stout it is. It's really cute. And then you just put batteries in it. Let's just try it. I have the batteries here. I do have a Morning Star update, but girl, like, it's not much. I have read half of the book so far. I had the first half on graphic audio, but honestly, I wasn't super into it. Not like Golden Sun. It's cute. I probably won't light it much because it gives it that, the yellow hue gives it something different. But like this, it's gorgeous. I'm gonna see where I fit it on my shelves, probably somewhere. But yeah, Golden Sun, where am I? I am on part 3 now. That is page, it's literally halfway. 271. Dang, that's a lot. So yeah, this picked up right where Golden Sun left off. So I liked that. And if you've read it, then you know what's happening. Obviously with with books like this, books in series, last books in series, I can't really say much without spoiling things. But what I will say is that it did pick up at the end. I'm loving the conflicts that are going on between friendships. I really love that portion, but the like war portion, the politics portion right now is really not hitting for me. We did have a little reveal in terms of the politics, and I was like, okay, but it wasn't anything too crazy, which is, it's worrisome to me because this is the third book and I thought this was going to be like 5 stars for me, but halfway, don't love this first half. However, I was listening to the audiobook, and whenever I listen to the audiobook, I don't pay as much attention. So now this, I don't have the second half of the graphic audio. So I'm going to read this physically on my own, and maybe that'll help. That'll help because I am always more focused when I'm the one reading it instead of having someone read it to me. So let's continue. Let's finish Morning Star and see how it goes. Good morning. So it is like 4 days later because let me tell you, it took me like 4 days to read the second half of this book. I just was not into it. I literally read 2 whole other books while trying to read the second half of this book. And I don't think it was bad. I think I just wasn't in the mood for it, but I was forcing myself to read it so I could finish the trilogy. Not because of the video, but because my brother finished this a while back and I started it before him, and I've been wanting to talk to him about it, and I was like, no, I need to push through. So I finished it and I ended up giving it 4.5 stars, which I wish I would have just given it 4 stars because I don't think my enjoyment was a 4.5. So I might go and like redo that, but I liked it. Overall, I liked it. I feel like my favorite character in this was for sure Several. I loved him from the beginning. From book 1, I loved him. I loved his character arc, his growth. And just, I feel like Several just went through it the most from everybody. He's the one that gave up the most sacrifice, the most, like, he was so loyal. He was just everything. I loved him. And he's the reason that I was even in this to begin with, because I struggled. And I don't hate Darrow. I know a lot of people don't like Darrow, but I don't hate him or anything. I just don't love him either. He's just whatever to me. But Several, I loved him. I loved his interactions with Darrow. If anything, it elevated Darrow as a character for me when he interacted with Several. But yeah, it was so nice. Like the beginning, the first half, his struggles with Darrow, and then the end, his sacrifices, like amazing. 5 stars for Several, 4 stars for Morning Star. Golden Sun is still my favorite of the 3. So yeah. Anyway, I think today I'm gonna fully dedicate to reading because I want to read 2 books today, which is ambitious, but I think I can do it. So first up, Kingdom of the Feared, which is the 3rd and final book in the Kingdom of the Wicked trilogy. These are okay. They haven't been great. The first book was like a mystery-ish type book, YA. The second book was definitely new adult, and we got a lot more spice. And then this one is for sure adult because it started off with spice, and I feel like the whole book's gonna be like that. These are fine. I'm not too harsh on them, but I'm just reading them to get to Throne of the Fallen, and the second book in that is coming out soon. So I have the audiobook. I'm 25% in. I think we can finish this one today. And then tonight, like when I go to bed, I want to read Powerful, or who knows, at some point. I will read this all day, I guess. Powerful by Lauren Roberts. It's a little book. I think I can get this one done. Probably start it early and then when I go to bed, finish it. But the reason I'm reading it is because the last book will be Reckless, and then we'll wrap this up. So let's hope that we have some good reads for the rest. Morning Star was good, but I'm gonna bring it down to 4 stars. And then, yeah, I'm excited. We have the whole day ahead. Just me, Butters. My husband's at work. Let's get to it. Time for an update. It's 2 days later and I have gone through some books. So that day I did read Kingdom of the Feared in its entirety. I listened to the audiobook, which honestly, this was such a fast read. I sped it up quite a bit and got through it with no problems. I will say I didn't love this trilogy. As a whole, I did not love it. I feel like my favorite one was the second one, but I also like the first one. I don't know. I feel like this one was my least favorite. I feel like so much happened, but some of it felt really unnecessary. Like it was just too much for the sake of having a lot of stuff in it. And then some of the things that were introduced or brought up, like there was a little side thing with the witches. We see them kind of conspiring in a little group, but we don't explore that. It just gets left behind, I guess. And we don't see as much of the kings of the, not the kings, the princes of sin. I wanted to see more of why they are the way they are, who they are, you know what I mean? And I think we might get that with the Throne of the Fallen series. I think I heard that, you know, in the first one we follow Envy, and I think the second one we're following someone else. So all in all, it's just looking like I'm gonna like those a lot more than these. There was also way too much smut, way too much spice. Like, we get it, you're into each other, let's move on. But it was just a lot. What I will say is that I did like the pacing in the beginning. In the beginning, we literally pick up right where we left off from Kingdom of the Curse. And I like that because we immediately get some answers. So I was immediately pulled in. But then the rest was just like, could have done without it. So 2.5 stars for this one. I will now happily continue on to Throne of the Fallen. I hope it's good. Fairy Loot is doing Throne of Secrets. I don't have Throne of the Fallen, the Fairy Loot edition. I wish I did, but I don't. And I saw it's reselling way too expensive. So I'm going to keep the one I have, but I do want the Fairy Loot Throne of Secrets because it's blue. And we all know I have a thing for blue books. So I also read Powerful. This was also like a one-day read because it's very short. And I really liked it. It was really sweet. I really liked getting to meet Adina a little bit more closely and see who she is without Peyton, because we only see her in the context of being with Peyton. And man, poor girl. I mean, if you read Powerless, you know what's gonna happen to her. So I think that was really unique, and I like that aspect that we already knew how this was gonna end, and we're just seeing all the lead up to it. Mac, I feel the most for him because, you know, after you learn everything that he's gone through, and then what happens in the end, poor guy. I really hope we see Mac again in Reckless, or the third book. What is it? Fearless? Because I really liked him. I felt like, damn, like he needs some sort of happiness or happy ending going on for him, because poor guy. Plus, he's super powerful. So it was just very sweet and sad. And Adina was just too good for this world. She was literally the epitome of goodness. It was just so sad seeing someone so good go through so much shit. But I did give this 3.5 stars because it is a novella. The best novella I've ever read is Six Scorched Roses by Carissa Broadbent. Amazing. Amazing. This one was okay. The pacing, it was a little slow. I would say the first half was like, okay, I guess. But it was good. 3.5 stars. And now I did start Reckless. I started it late last night. I stayed up reading, and I pretty much got through the whole book. I still have a little bit left. I'd say like a quarter left, which I'm going to read right now. Finish it and then come back to discuss it. But so far, I will say I'm not loving it as much as Powerless. I'm really not. And I understand why people were disappointed. But we'll talk about that more once I finish it, because I do have thoughts. I do have thoughts about many things. are losing daylight. But I am done with Reckless. I've got to say, it was very mid. It was exactly what people were saying it was. I felt like not much happened. I think we could have just read the end, if I'm being honest, like the last chapter, and we would have been fine. From powerless to fearless. I don't think that this was necessary at all. I also don't think that the romance between Kai and Peyton was amazing. I wasn't super invested, not gonna lie. I did do half audio, half physical reading, but it was just okay. So that being said, I did like the end. I was okay with it. I felt like the end was really predictable as soon as Calum gave Kit that little box. I think we all knew where that was going. So yeah, I'm just interested to see, to figure out how it is that Calum is advising Kit. Like, what happened? Do I just not remember Powerless? Do you know what happened? Because I can't remember. And I was like thinking back on it, but I did read Powerless a while back, and little peanut brain can't remember what it is happened and how that pairing happened. But I'm interested to see. Book 3 should be good. According to Lauren, this was just a little filler book, which I can't believe she said that, because wow. But it very much was. We could have done without this. Like, I feel like Powerful was better than this. So that being said, I'm going to give this one 3 stars because I am invested in the characters at this point. Powerless was such a hit for me that it carried and allowed Reckless to be 3 stars. So yeah, I am excited to go to the next one because I feel like the next one might potentially give us more of the Powerless feelings. Not the vibes, because it's going to be different, obviously, but I think we'll get a lot more action, answers, reveals, betrayals, all that stuff. Drama, which is what I thrive on. So that's it. That is the end of this reading vlog. Thanks for hanging out. I think it was pretty successful. We went through several series. So what did we do? We caught up with Magnolia Parks, all 5 books under our belt, and now I don't know when the other 2 are going to be released, but I will be reading them and buying them and cherishing them in these covers because they are gorgeous. And then we finished completely the first Red Rising trilogy by Pierce Brown. We read all 3 books. There is another trilogy and I think another book coming, but I'll read that in due time. Then we wrapped up another trilogy, Kingdom of the Wicked. We read all 3 books, and now I can move on to Throne of the Fallen by Carrie Maniscalco. And we caught up with Powerless. We read Powerless, Powerful, Reckless, caught up. So all in all, I think it was successful. I do have other series that I'm in the middle of, but I don't know that I have a lot that I'm like there to catch up. We'll keep doing more of these as we go. But yeah, thanks so much for hanging out. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Also, if you remember, if I missed something from Powerless to Reckless about the Callum situation, let me know down below. I don't think I did, but I might have. Anyway, see you soon. Bye.